Okay, so today we're going to do triangle inequalities. These are super easy, so y'all should be excited. First thing, the exterior angle inequality theorem in a triangle. And what that says is if you take the exterior angle, it has to be greater than the two remote interior angles. Okay, so that means, oops, those are not equal. That means angle 4 has to be greater than angle 1, and angle 4 has to be greater than angle 2. Since angle 1 and angle 2, because remember yesterday, the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals angle 4. So that means angle 4 has to be bigger than both of them. So for example, let's look at this rather complex looking picture. It says which angles are less than angle 1. So since angle 1 is exterior, if I only look at, let's look at this triangle here. So if I were to, I'm going to kind of block out. Oops. See if I can get this thing out of the way here. All right. So let's say that I only look at this triangle right here. Well, angle 1 is exterior to triangle 2, 3, 4, right? So that means that angle 1 has to be bigger than angle 3 and angle 4. Now if I move this out of the way, now I look at the larger triangle, which would be the whole thing here, that whole triangle there. Now angle 1 is exterior to angle 5 and angle 7 also. So angle 1 is bigger than 3, 4, 5, and 7. Now which ones are less than angle 8? So now we go over here and we look at angle 8 as being an exterior angle. So if angle 8 is exterior, if we take this same thought, so I'm going to move this over here. This time I'm going to cover up that part. So since angle 8 is exterior to this triangle, that means angle 8 is greater than 5 and 6. So angle 5 and angle 6. But if I move this out of the way and I look at the whole picture, angle 8 is also bigger than 3 and 2. So which angle has the greatest measure? 4, 5, or 7? Well, if you think about it, if I scribble this out, isn't angle 4 exterior to this triangle here? So we're not looking at angle 8 anymore. So angle 4 is exterior. So 6 would be the linear pair. So that makes 5 and 7 the remote interior angles, right? So that means angle 4 has the greatest measure. Angle 4 is exterior angle, so it is greater. All right. Now, this isn't on your paper, but we're going to come to the conclusion. So if you have a triangle, the longest side is across from the largest angle, or the largest angle is across from the longest side. So in other words, big goes with big. So let's look. Which side is the longest? So out of these three sides, which side is the longest? 6 is the biggest number, so that makes PO the longest side. So which angle would be the largest then? So you look at the one that's across from it. So that would be angle D. So therefore, the largest angle is opposite the longest side, just like we had it up here. Okay, now looking at the picture, which angle is the largest? So since 100 is the biggest number, then angle D is the largest angle. Look across, and PO is the longest side. So the largest side is opposite the largest angle. Well, that same thought goes with the smallest. So if you look here at the smallest, since 30 is smallest, then we would say that angle O is the smallest side, and across from angle O is PD, which means that is your smallest side. So then now we can say that the side that is the shortest is opposite the smallest angle. And of course, that goes both ways. So if I look up here, which side is the shortest? So I look at my three numbers. Since 3 is the smallest, that means PD is the smallest side. Across from PD is angle O. So that means that the smallest angle is opposite the shortest side. All right. So now let's try some. So you look over here, it says if RA is 13, AD is 9, RD is 11. So if that is the case, what is the biggest angle? Well, I look over here at my sides. Since this is my largest side, I'm going to write largest. Then over here I'm going to write smallest. Since this is my largest side, then across from my largest side is angle D. So that is my largest angle. Since 9 is my smallest side, then I look across and I see that angle R is the smallest angle. So if I'm going to list the angles from the biggest to the smallest, the biggest being D, the smallest being R, which leaves A to be in the middle. If the measure of angle R is 40, the measure of angle A is 60, and the measure of angle D is 80, what is the longest side? Well, since 80 is my largest angle, then I look across. So from here I look across and I see that this is the largest or longest. And then I do the same thing for the shortest. Since this is the smallest angle, you look across and that is your smallest. So what is the longest side? RA. What is the shortest side? AD. List the sides from the shortest to the longest. So since the shortest is AD, we got a middle one, and then the longest is RA, then that makes this the middle, RD. Pretty easy. The last part of today's lesson is that it's called the triangle inequality theorem. So this is another theorem. So the sum, so we're going to add the lengths of any two sides. So pick two sides of a triangle and add them together. And it's going to be greater than the length of the third side. In other words, side A plus side B has to be greater than side C. B plus C has to be bigger than A. And C plus A has to be bigger than B. But I have a shortcut for you. A shortcut is to pick the two smallest sides, add them together, and they have to be greater than the third side. So we're going to practice. So we're going to determine whether these three numbers can make a triangle. Can it really be a triangle? Just because they give you three sides, does that mean it is a triangle? So you pick the two smallest. So which two are smallest? So since I have a 3 and a 4, then I'm going to add them together. 3 plus 4 has to be bigger than 6. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 is greater than 6. Yes, this is a triangle. So do it again. Pick the two smallest sides. 6 plus 9 has to be bigger than 15. 6 plus 9 is 15. Is 15 bigger than 15? No, it is not. It is equal. This doesn't say it can be equal. It says it has to be greater. So make yourself a note. Has to be greater. pick the last two here. So 4 plus 8 has to be bigger than 16. 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 has to be bigger than 16. No, it is not a triangle. In the last part, what we want to do is we want to find the range. That means we want to find every single number that will work. So the range, every single number that is going to work. So find the range. So what you do is you take these two numbers. The first thing you do is subtract. So 6 minus 1 is 5. All right, so now we got 6 minus 1 is 5. Then you take the same two numbers and add them. 6 plus 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. So that means your answer, that your x, has to be somewhere between 5 and 7. So that would be the answer. So the answer is somewhere between 5 and 7. So it could be 5.1, 6.99, it could even be 6. It could be 6 3/4. It can be any number between 5 and 7. But it cannot be 5 and it cannot be 7 because it has to be less than. All right. So same thing. When they ask for the range, take the two numbers. First you subtract, then you add, and then you stick the x in the middle and put two less than signs. And that is the range. So for this triangle, so if I had this triangle here, if this side was 12 and this side was 18, this side could be any number between. So it could be 29, or it could be 7, or it could be 15, or it can be any number in between. So remember, first subtract, second you add. All right, guys, that's the end. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.